Dr. Mary Neal was enjoying a bucket list trip kayaking in Chile. The route they took was not for beginners. High flow, huge drops, multiple waterfalls. When a fellow kayaker veered into her path, she was forced to reroute through the main part of the waterfall. It was a towering drop. The rapids were too powerful. She lost control. Her boat was pinned. She was completely underwater, submerged, and trapped. She could feel her bones breaking. And yet, miraculously, she felt no pain. Dr. Mary Neal was dying, and she felt at peace and more alive than ever before. Dr. Mary Neal worked as an orthopedic spine surgeon. Her years of medical and scientific training kept her uninterested in spiritual matters. Scientists and doctors face an uphill battle when it comes to spiritual topics. Things must be proven to be believed, and the esoteric nature of spirituality can be hard to prove. It can take a miracle to convert a skeptic, and that's exactly what happened to Dr. Mary Neal. And over 200 years before her ordeal, another scientist was jolted by a spiritual awakening, and he saw his life dramatically transform. Emanuel Swedenborg, an 18th century Swedish scientist, spent the last decades of his life fervently recording his own spiritual experiences to help others. And he claimed to have them every day. Much of what Dr. Neal saw resembles the observations in Swedenborg's records. It has been granted me to be with angels and to talk with them person to person. I have also been enabled to see what is in heaven and in hell for 13 years. Now I am able to describe what I have heard and seen, in the hopes of shedding light where there is ignorance, and of dispelling skepticism. If what Dr. Neal remembers truly did happen, then Swedenborg's records give us eyewitness testimony of how to understand it. The story begins the moment her spirit left her body. When it happened, Dr. Neal felt as if she were being peeled out of her body, and she felt a pop, and then she was rising up to the heavens. She felt as if she were held and loved, almost like she was a baby being held by God. Here in this loving, light-filled place, she was shown her life so far. She had to look back at her life, reviewing all that had happened, from the perspective of everyone involved. This was a difficult, painful process. But today, Dr. Neal is grateful for it. For now, she could understand the pain and suffering of everyone around her. Here she is asked if her life review was a comfortable experience.
No, they were all the most painful moments of my life.
But reviewed with absolute compassion.
Oh, absolute. And not just compassion for me. It really was like that with every circumstance. Whether it was someone that hurt me or even if I hurt someone. I mean, my feelings of regret just disappeared. What I discovered is that where God's love is present, there's no room for a destructive emotion.
And
it just doesn't exist.
We are healed.
We are 100% healed.
Yeah.
Swedenborg called this retrospective experience our book of life, and he described how nothing we did in life would be hidden. we would relive every moment with precise transparency. All our deeds and all our thoughts are written on our whole person and seem as though they are read from a book when they are called out of our memory. They appear in a kind of image when our spirit is looked at in heaven's light. Dr. Neal learned that our spirits can be healed by the light of heaven. But could her body, still trapped, lifeless, underwater, be healed on earth? Dr. Neal was outside of her body, experiencing a life review in an entirely different environment than the one she was drowning in. And yet somehow, in the midst of her spiritual experience, she was still able to see her body and could even feel the water pressure. She watched as her fellow kayakers struggled to reach her. 30 minutes had passed. She was not experiencing time the way people experience on Earth. For her at this moment, time had no meaning. Space was arbitrary. She was everywhere, and she was nowhere. Swedenborg noted this phenomenon many times in his writings. I was given the opportunity to reflect on these changes of place and to realize that they were only apparent moves, that my state alone changed while my body stayed put. Locations and distances in the other world are simply differences in state. The distance of a place does not matter at all in the other life. Angels have no concept of time. It seemed impossible that Dr. Neal could have survived, but her friends did not give up. Finally, one of the kayakers was able to grasp her leg and pull her body out of the water. By all accounts, Dr. Neal's prognosis was not good. Her body was bloated, puffy from the water. She had drowned. She had multiple broken bones. Observing all of this from beyond, Dr. Neal knew her body was dying and was surprised that she felt no pain or even attachment to it. Suddenly, a group of radiant beings appeared by her side. They welcomed her and invited her to join them. She could hear her friends and fellow kayakers staying with her body, calling her, pleading that she survive. They begged her to take a breath. She didn't look back as she followed the beings who came for her. The beings were there to welcome her. They walked together down a beautiful path, laden with plants and vibrant flowers, immersed in visual and aromatic splendor, and a sense of infinite love. She and her entourage reached a glorious domed structure where thousands of other souls were waiting to greet her. Every community in heaven is growing in numbers daily, and angels long for nothing more than to have new angel guests arrive there. Dr. Neal knew that she was home. She felt love flowing through every fiber of her being, and she was ready to stay. But the beings told her that it was not her time. She did not want to return to her body. The beings held her, they comforted her, they assured her everything would be okay, but she had more to do on Earth. Then, oddly enough, they warned her that hardship would come. The loss of her son, who was then just 8 years old, who would die before he reached adulthood. Then, with that news, she awoke. Against all odds, when the group of rescuers reached the road with Mary, an ambulance was waiting. In rural Chile in 1999, this was very fortunate, but no one had called it. No one expected it. Despite the heroic rescue, doctors explained to her husband that she would not survive the night. They prepared for the worst, again. But Dr. Neal did survive that first night, just as she had survived being underwater and trapped for 30 minutes. And in the months that followed, she would continue to not just survive, but to make a full and miraculous recovery. In spite of all she'd been through, her greatest loss was yet to come. The being's warning came true. Her son died 10 years later. He was just 20 years old. Dr. Neal feels the loss palpably and grieves him deeply. But she knows that her son isn't actually gone. He lives in heaven, and she will see him again. Of this, she has no doubt. Swedenborg learned that people in the other life desperately want their friends and family on earth to know that they're still alive. They wanted me to tell their loved ones that they were not dead, but alive, and were just as human now as ever. They said they had simply crossed over from one world into another, and had no awareness of having lost anything, since they had a body and sensory faculties just as they had had before. They had understanding and will just as before. They had the same kinds of thoughts and feelings as they had in the world. Today, Dr. Mary Neal shares the message she learned about how loved we all are, that God is with us, and that we have nothing to fear from death. She believes that we're here for a purpose. She works hard to communicate what she's learned with others. In addition to her work, she has published multiple books about her experience, has done many interviews, TED Talks, and even appeared in the Netflix documentary Surviving Death. Dr. Mary Neal definitely is excited to go back and live in heaven, but she knows life here is powerful, important, and meaningful.
I'm looking forward to going back. I'm certainly not afraid of death, but I don't want to diminish the value of being here, because this experience on earth and this experience in life is just this incredible opportunity. It's a great adventure. It brings context and meaning, because we do have a home.
Yes.
We are going home. But there are things we learn here that we can't learn there.
Emanuel Swedenborg would agree. Our life here is a great opportunity. What can we learn? How can we serve? And what is it that we all have in common? Love. The universe, from beginning to end, and from first to last, is so full of divine love and wisdom that you could call it divine love and wisdom in an image. For Dr. Mary Neal and Emanuel Swedenborg, the evidence is clear. Death is not the end. But the real mystery remains to be solved. How will you seize this opportunity that we call life? And what adventure is calling you right now? Hey everybody, thanks for watching. This is Curtis Childs. This has been the NDE Files. If you want to see another episode, we recommend this one.